she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, from China to Saudi Arabia. How we doing, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Axe Cave Picks, episode 153. Today is Wednesday, November 27th. A little Wednesday action for you because of the holidays. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. Joe, how you doing down there?
Doing well. And, I'll be locked and loaded on Friday. So it's just a busy holiday week, bro. If you have nothing to do on Thanksgiving, besides watching some, football, as we all will like to do, there is some fights going on, and it's Misfits and DAZN X Series 19, the Qatar Supercard tomorrow morning. So there's also One Friday Fights 89. I do that every Friday. And Lux Fight League 48. It's on UFC Fight Pass come Saturday evening. So if you got nothing to do Saturday night, there's something to watch.
Any big names we might know of on that Misfits card? KSI, maybe?
Slim is headlining it, and he did good in his last time out. I'm not all too into the Misfits and stuff, being that it's kind of a freak show, gimmicky type stuff. But, some of these guys, some of these influencers are pretty athletic. So, like I said, if you have nothing else better going on, you can tune in for some fun fights. And I got something else to mention towards the end of the show about why I won.
All right, we got a great episode, though, for you guys. We'll recap UFC Macau. What a performance by Petr Yan, Yan Xiaonan as well, Muslim Salikov. The Yans, exactly, the Yan parlay hit if you catch that as well. But, it was a great showing in China. We got PFL championships as well going down. Early start time on Friday, 9:30 a.m. Prelims, 1 p.m. main card. It'll get us right into Black Friday for Chiefs Raiders, kid. What do you say about that?
The blackout.
Exactly, the blackout game. Watch out for the Chiefs now. We got some news. We got some news in boxing, some nice fights as well for UFC 311, January 18th. And then we got a special message at the end of the show. But Joe, I do want to start in Macau.
Yeah.
Deiveson Figueiredo, I thought he had some moments, but it was but it was a masterclass, I thought, from Petr Yan. I thought he won 49-47, basically the whole 49-46. And I thought it was a masterclass. His takedown defense was good. I thought his striking was phenomenal. Figueiredo did have some moments, and I thought he kind of stunned Petr Yan, but tough as nails coming back from that injury. This is what you want to see from him.
Yeah, we like Figgy. We all do. We're a fan, but I just think the fanship for Petr Yan is just through the roof, man. People love Petr Yan so much, and it just shows how talented he is. He just put on that display. Like I said, the trip, that was like what John did. We see some of the most skillful fighters in the past couple of weeks back to back pull off a move like that just shows their level of what they're performing at, man. So Petr Yan's back in it. He's definitely going to be the next in line for the title shot. And like you said, I saw 50, 45. I agreed with the judges, all three. I had him winning every single round. I know some people on the internet were saying that Figgy won the fight. I don't know what fight they were watching.
Lay off the Wii.
Yeah, lay him back, watching fights back when he was fighting at 125, fighting Joe Benavidez or something. But no, he was fighting Petr Yan. Like we talked about, going to be more comfortable at the weight class, been fighting bigger guys. And Figgy's like, he was a bigger 125er, probably should have been at 135 for the majority of his career and took advantage of the, the power advantage there. But here you go, fighting quicker guys similar to your size and guys who have been through the fire, out of the frying pan into the fire, man. I sure will see more of Figgy, but Petr Yan here to stay. It's like he's never left, bro. And I got to say, I love his son, dude. He came out there and said, I'm happy my dad won.
Great.
That brought tears to my eyes, bro. Just like it's the same thing when we go talking about why I like Alexander Pantoja. What the first video I've seen of him was when he won his fight and his son was just crying and happy that his dad won. So that means a lot to me. And shout out No Mercy Petr Yan. He's back.
Yeah, like he never left as well. So many ways I want to go, but before we get to Petr Yan and what's next for him, I don't think it's a major step back for Figueiredo. He's still top 5 in the division. Maybe a matchup with Corey Sandhagen, Marlon Vera. Like, what do you see moving forward for him? Because I still think he is a top 5 fighter in that bantamweight division.
Yeah, man. Sheesh, who's not matched up right now? You know what I mean? Like, are we going to give a Marcus McGee that big of a push? I don't necessarily think so. we got to look at the ones who aren't scheduled. But I'm pretty sure, like, what, Henry Cejudo, he's got a matchup coming up. Is that wrong?
They were trying to tease that, and Dom Cruz won last ride. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So I mean, that's the thing. It's like that seems to be a legacy fight. Are these guys willing to put their name on the, the docket and put them up for grabs? Their ranking and everything. I don't necessarily know. So it's gonna have to be with someone who doesn't have a fight ranked up, willing to take a Figgy fight. And I know he's gonna be hungry coming back in. And like we said, after losses with some skillful guys like that, man, watch out. Figgy could be improved. He could be improving his skill set after experiencing some guy like that. I mean, he could come out furious next time.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of options that he could go, maybe fight down one more or fight up. There are a lot of big fights moving up. As for Peter Yan, you mentioned something that was interesting, and a lot of people were discussing about after the fight, saying, he might be next. I don't doubt that, but I do think I think everyone would love a Sean O'Malley rematch. A lot of people thought he won that fight, me included. I think a Sean O'Malley Petr Yan fight is the number one contender fight, while Umar and Merab deal with what they got to deal with.
Wow,
Does that make sense?
That's fair, but did we get the Umar fight? I don't think that was announced, right?
I think all roads lead that way.
I think that as a purist standpoint, yes, but maybe at a business standpoint, no. UFC business, you do see them override a lot of stuff, and they probably would make more money getting the rematch with Sean O'Malley. And I would hate to see Umar having to take Peter, or Peter having to fight Umar. I think both of those guys do deserve a shot. So let's see how the UFC plays it. But I do like your observation on that. I mean, like I said, from a purist standpoint, Petr Yan could fight Sean O'Malley, get that win back, and there's no doubt who would be the number one contender.
As for the Chief support, Yan Xiaonan looked fantastic, calling for that rematch against Zhang Weili. She just put it on top of Richie. I mean, I thought there was a possibility she could have put her away. The power, her speed on her feet didn't allow the takedown as well. It was a flawless performance.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back flawless performances. I mean, Yan Xiaonan, I doubted her. I thought the wrestling would come into play, but as soon as she got taken down, popped right back up. Nothing, brushed it off like no thing. But then the overuse of the pointing to the center of the octagon, that's the only thing I didn't like from the Yan Xiaonan performance, because it's now you're overplaying it,
A little too much.
Yeah, a little too much, especially when we don't think you're going to really put her away. Like you said, if it was really had that heavy hitter power, then maybe, but, for her, it would be like a Max Holloway situation, the accumulation of volume punches and strikes, and then maybe getting them out of there, which, like you said, was close for Tabitha Ricci, but she's a dog. She's tough. She's a baby shark, and I'm sure we'll see her back as well. But Yan Xiaonan for the champ status, I don't know.
Do you think that's it? Because Tatiana Suarez can't stay healthy. That's the problem. So do you run it back?
Is availability. So, I mean, yeah, the UFC might not have other choice but to do that, because like you said, they don't have Tatiana Suarez, who they thought was going to be, the next challenger. She can't stay healthy. She's not there. She's not available. Can't do it. Next man up.
Or woman, for that matter.
Yeah.
Performance of the night, Muslim Salikov. What a knockout in the first round. Did not look good. I mean,
bro,
that was bad.
But it's just 309 was entertaining, but there was more decisions, bro. 3 a.m. China card. Some of the most viral highlight reel knockouts you've seen, and the card was fantastic. I mean, it just slept one of the cards of the year, and what are you gonna expect, a spinning heel knockout from the Kung Fu? Why didn't we not expect that with a nickname like that? But 40 years young, he wants more fights. I just love everything about Muslim Salikov. I'm surprised myself that I faded the man, but I'm sure a lot more to come from the 40-year-old.
A lot of people cashed out with the big underdog. Plus 380, Gabriela Fernandez gets
crazy.
The submission win in the second round. Silenced all the doubters. Wong Kong did not get it done. All that hype for nothing.
Though.
But for what?
Exactly. Well, what matters is if you win. Whether you win by an inch or you win by a mile, all that matters if you win. Okay. Okay, Dom Toretto. But no, I like Kang Wang still. I do think that she's a very uber talented prospect, but it's just that, a prospect. And she may not have worked out all the kinks or got too used to mixed martial arts, because you have someone with the slick jiu-jitsu. Gabby Fernandez put her down with the strikes, but, took advantage of the ground, and she was probably a step ahead once they hit there. So we got to see Kang Wang, round out her skill set, and she might be a threat in the future. I was maybe a little too high on her. Sometimes I get taken away by the hype too, guys. We got to see through it at ourselves.
Carlos Ulberg, what a decision win. I thought he dominated that fight against Volkan Ozdemir. Calling out Khalil Roundtree, moves up 3
I like
spots
that.
in the ranking to number 7 in the light heavyweight division. Do you like that step up
Oh
in
man,
competition?
I mean the dude's smart, and we're seeing more and more of Kohler Solberg. We see him get to the third round and hit a submission, which you didn't think was in his arsenal or his repertoire, and then he comes out and decisions Volkan Ozdemir, where he looked to be in control the entirety of the fight, and then he does good on the mic. I mean, this dude is definitely the Rock 2.0. So, hide your contenders as well as your wife and girlfriends because I mean he's coming.
Yeah. And to open the card, performance of the night as well. Zhang Ming Yang, he gets the knockout against Ozzy Diaz. Only took him 2 minutes and 25 seconds,
The
but
Mountain Tiger is a serious.
he's
strike,
for real
bro.
too. He might be a
love this.
contender at that light heavyweight division.
Dude, I like to call him like the Yao Ming the light heavyweight division. I mean, this dude just is putting up buckets, bro. He's just getting a first round knockout here and there. You know what I'm saying? Unstoppable.
Yeah. And also performance of the night in the strawweight division, Ming Xing, she gets the knockout. Vicious, honestly. Hopefully she's okay.
Unexpected too, because Ming Xi more submissions in her arsenal. And then Zhao Ken Fang at 22 years old has a lot of, stand-up TKOs and stuff. The fact that she got that knockout and then looked at her so worried proves that she has a heart. She's a doctor. She was looking at it 2 different perspectives. I mean, she's a fan favorite now. I think a lot of people admire Ming Xi.
Yeah, definitely. Ming Xi, she gets a nice performance bonus. And like you said, the whole card I thought was pretty good. Some decisions early on, but we also got the knockout, second fight into it. And then there were just a bunch of knockouts, I thought. So, yeah, overall, it was a really good card if you stayed up or if you watched it the night before.
I was up.
Yeah. But we go 3-0. We finally have a good night. We sweep the board 3-0. Joe, how did you do?
I'm glad you went undefeated. I'm still in the green. I went 8-6. I just going to tone it down a little bit. That's all. And I know for 311, right? 310 before 311, 310. I'm sure I'll get it right.
I know you will. Yeah, but we have picks. But before we do that, Joe, why don't you hit them with the read? What do you got, kid?
Absolutely. We are brought to you, as always, by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted the #1 hard seltzer in the world by the San Francisco World Spirits Competition this year. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, at a 4.5% ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with the active lifestyle in mind. We flavored our tequila seltzers because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with a kick, just like we like to live our lives. Whether it's, the new flavors like coconut while hanging around the family for this Thanksgiving, or an even newer flavor, limoncello, in the morning while watching the PFL finale. Our flavors pair perfectly with our artisanal Blanco tequila for our subtle and refreshing drinks. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and Viva Seltzer is to live long, live well, and live it up.
Joe, we got to get some of those new flavors, kid, huh?
They sound fantastic.
They sound fantastic. They sound refreshing as well. So
that
can't wait to get our hands on that.
Wow. Can't believe they did that.
Friday, we got early start time, 9:38 prelims, PFL championship filled with a bunch of good fights, in my opinion. 1 p.m. main card start. Joe, you got anything on the prelims?
Yeah, I actually have a little action right as we begin. I don't have any official plays for after the first 2 fights, but I mean, I'll get started with the PFL championship, otherwise known as PFL 10. But I mean, if we talked about PFL 10, we'd have already about 6 or 7 of them. So this is the PFL championship for 2024. And it starts off in the atomweight division. So atomweight is 105. If you're not too familiar with that, D-Rock, these are for the women that are coming in small. You see it in Invicta because we have an Invicta atomweight championship. So I don't think the UFC will ever, tend to the very lighter weight classes like that. But here we get to see Hatan Alsaf again taking on Lilia Osmani. And, I got to take Hatan. I just think she's super talented. The Saudi Arabian phenomenon is just coming in here and just doing what she has to and putting her country on the map. So I think she gets it done in Riyadh, her own backyard, in front of her fans, and she can use the train rolling. So let's move along into what I have a play in the next fight. A middleweight division fight, 185 pounds, Costello Van Steenis. What a name. -625. Massive favor on the card because he has that Dutch kickboxing. But don't blink because João Vitor Dantas, dude, plus 500. You know, I love the dogs. I'm taking the dog in this spot because this dude has knocked out every opponent he's come across. You know, those Brazilians, they come out there with guns a-blazing and going into hostile territory. They thrive in it. So, I mean, I'm just foaming at the mouth for this plus 500 with a dude that doesn't go to distance with the guy who also likes to strike. It can go either way. And if that's the case, I'm going to take the dog. So plus 500, I'm all over it. So there's, like I said, the next 4 fights I don't necessarily have a play on. You know, we start in the featherweight division. Asael Ajudi is minus 140, taking on Jose Perez at plus 120. I think Jose Perez, Puerto Rican fighter, you know, representing the United States. And, you know, sometimes you want to play the dog, but, you know, he's in hostile territory. And I just don't know if the record and the resume can, you know, live up to expectations. So I didn't take a play there. We've seen this featherweight division before. Jesus Pinedo compete and win the PFL championship, but he's in the prelim card at minus 270, taking on a tough and very game Jeremy Kennedy at plus 230. Being as close as it is, because I do think Jesus Pinedo wants to keep it standing. Jeremy Kennedy could find a path to victory on the ground, and he's just as competent on the feet. So I didn't want to play it because I think it's really close to the chest, and I think the odds could have been a little slimmer. Speaking of slim, talking about the Misfits main event and the odds we just talked about, in this heavyweight division, we have Slim Trabelsi at minus 140, taking on Abraham Babli at plus 120. Great names. I'm loving all the names I'm seeing here, but I don't have an official play. Heavyweights, man, anyone could get knocked out there.
Oh, yeah.
And then the lightweight division, Mansour Barnoy is minus 275. Take on the Axeman, Alfie Davis at plus 240. And I played Mansour in the past, and I just can't fade a dude bearing our namesake. You know, the Axeman, axe kick picks. I don't think it'd be right to fade him. So I stayed away and not taking that fight at all. So no official play for those 4 fights. But the MENA championships are going to be taking place in this card. I think they were going to do separate events, but I think just, you know, where it's going to be at and where everything's going to be, they're going to put it all together on this PFL championship card, this PFL finale. So the first MENA championship is in the featherweight division. It's Abdul Rahman at Asayat taking on Abdullah Al-Qatani. And Abdullah Al-Qatani is a replacement. Now, the separator that I've done with the MMA math is the fighter that he was supposed to fight, Iram. Asayat was supposed to fight Iram. Al-Qatani lost to him. So I'm going to use a little MMA math here. As no, it's never perfect, and just got to go with the undefeated. Abdul Rahman, the Cobra. I do think with that MMA having a win over Al-Qatani previously, and also the guy he was supposed to fight having a win over Al-Qatani, I just think it adds out that he'll continue rolling and he'll get the victory. No odds because, like I said, it was a last-minute replacement from Abdullah Al-Qatani. So I like that start, though, because show's got to go on. You know, show's got to go on, and I got to shout out the fighters for stepping in on the last second. So the next one is a men at lightweight championship. Mosin Mohammed Sifi is minus 200, taking down Georges Eid at plus 165. You know, 2 older guys fighting at 155, a lower weight class, and I think a lot of people are going to ride the favorite at minus 200. But you know, the Lebanese bulldozer Georges Eid, he's a more, you know, polished fighter. He has more fights under his belt, and if you're giving me at a dog price here, I got to take him. The older age between a 34, 35-year-old guys, it can go either way. So, you know, I love the dogs, and I love how they're barking, and I do think this could be a stand-up battle. Give me the dog. Plus 165. I'm going to take Georges Eid, the Lebanese bulldozer. In the next fight, man, I'm actually one of my favorite fighters actually over here. And I know Dylan always hits me with, you have a lot of favorite fighters. But, man, Ali Taleb comes out and puts on a performance pretty much every time you see him. And the odds will follow suit at minus 270. He's taking on Rashid Haas at plus 240. And I'm not counting out Rashid Haas. You never can count out your opponent. But I just think Ali Taleb has too much for him. And I do believe he will be the next MENA bantamweight champion. So that was that. And we move on to the last but not least welterweight MENA championship. That's between Muhammad Algara, minus 350, undefeated guy, taking on Omar El Dafuri at plus 310. And I got to go with the undefeated dude. I just seen him in his footage, and I just think he's a way too talented of a fighter to lose in this one. I think he's going to keep his O, and he's going to continue going on and maybe work his way to next season, you know, for the PFL. We'll see if he does that in the welterweight division. So we've made it. I do think that was the entirety of the preliminary card. And as soon as we get into the main card, we're starting with the PFL championships. Correct me if I'm wrong, D-Rock. Is that what you see?
Yeah, Gulsev starts it off.
Absolutely. So the heavyweights kick us off. Dennis Goltsov. I mean, he's been a veteran here. I think 2 or 3 time now PFL champion. So he's already made $2 to $3 million here. Is he going to hold that hunger at plus 115? I know D-Rock does like taking him a lot of times, and I do worry about ever fading the Russian Dennis Goltsov, but Oleg Popov, I mean, minus 120. I don't think we're ever going to see a price like this, especially if he gets Goltsov out of there. 17 fight win streak. I mean, a lot of first round finishes. The younger, about 10-year younger. So a lot of different advantages and reason to take a minus 120 favorite. Very playable, not chalky. Give me the slight favorite, Oleg Popov, to be the new PFL heavyweight champion. That's how we're going to kick off the main card.
You see a finish?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I don't know if it'll happen in the first, but I do think that some heavy strikes can accumulate. And if it goes into the second round and Goltsov's receiving it, I think he'll get out of there. But to the other end, Goltsov is very game, very tricky. He knows all the tricks. He could find a way to take this to the ground and beat him up on the ground where Oleg has not really been. So that does worry me, but I do think that, Goltsov does take advantage of size at times, and I think they're very evenly sized.
Yeah,
so
I was leaning. Yeah, I was gonna go fight doesn't end. Fight doesn't go to the distance or over 1.5 rounds. Both at minus 200. It was just very chalky, which I really didn't want to get into or give out. But is this the year that Goltsov finally gets the finish line? To do that, I think he does need to land a KO early on his opponent. Otherwise, I think it's going to be in a big wrestling match against someone who doesn't get tired. I think what's his name? Olaf.
Popov.
I think he has durability. I think he has good wrestling, and I think he's going to keep Dennis Goltsov at bay and, drag the fight deeper than expected. So I don't see it going all 5 rounds. Over 1.5 is a little chalky, but that's the kind of way I am.
I like it, though. It's a very safe bet. And heavyweights, all it takes is one punch.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is one punch. Now, in the lightweight championship, Brent Primus is plus 410, taking on Gazi Rabadanov at minus 550. Man, it was hard to watch Brent Primus last time out because on the feet, man, he just looked like he was getting was getting worked by Clay Collard. Cassius Clay Collard, friend of the show, absolutely working him on the feet, but he did go back to his wrestling roots and take him down continuously and just found a way to victory. So you can't knock the guy for the path of least resistance getting the job done. But I just didn't see good counter wrestling, really. And I do think that Gazi Rabadanov does have some hands on the feet. So just with more skills, with the ability to take him down, utilize his own wrestling, and maybe able to keep this on the feet and outstrike him, the minus 550 favorite is right. I think Gazi Rabadanov will stay undefeated and beat Brent Primus. So minus 550, you may have to search for a prop. I would go with the KO TKO. I know that might be a little surprising, but like I said, if it does go to the ground, Brent Primus's defense there isn't all good, especially when blocking strikes. If Rabadanov can compile them, I do think that a TKO finish could happen. My only fear is if Rabadanov jumps the neck early, then we'll be looking at a submission.
Yeah, Primus, he's finished all of his opponents thus far in the PFL, but I do think that streak will end in the finale. Primus, I do think he's a good grappler. I think he could wrestle good. But he tends to gas as the fight goes on. We saw it against Clay Collard and Rabadanov. I think he'll struggle early on to get the fight to the floor. So I do think he's going to want to stand there, bang, and maybe look for the knockout. I agree. I think he gets the knockout later in the round. So inside the distance at plus 235 or to Rabadanov to get the win by KO, TKO at plus 300. I think it's worth a sprinkle.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. Thank you. Let's go to the welterweight championship. Magomed Ulamotov is plus 210 in this spot, taking, our boy Shamil Musayev minus 250. You look at Ulamotov, he's an undefeated guy, but so is Musayev. But here's the difference between them. It's a case for me in this fight of what have you done for me lately? I think the toughest fight for Ulamotov was actually his third most recent when he fought Andrei Koreshkov. I don't really like Brendan Ward fight. And he just come off a win of, I don't think that was that impressive of a win, to be completely honest with you. I'm going to double check again. I did not like the win against Neiman Gracie either. Yes, that's what I was going to say. And Neiman Gracie, all credit to him with, the Gracie name and the jiu-jitsu and everything. But I just think that he slowed down a little bit. And Ulamotov going to decision against him. And man, like I said, Shamil Musayev knocks out Murad Ramazanov, right? He knocks him out. and then he has to beat him again in the decision. Like, that's the worst thing for a winning fighter to have to do, is to fight this guy you just beat and have to go back to him. And then I'm pretty sure he beats Logan Storley and finishes him prior to that. So Shamil Musayev is my pick, minus 250. I'm all over this guy. I don't know if he'll necessarily get a finish because Umaltov is tough. I might be willing to lay to minus 250. I might just have to play an extra unit if you're talking units, just to play it safe with the guy, because it has gone to the judges before. Undefeated fighters, that tends to happen. They'll cancel each other out. But I just think Musayev is the real deal. I like this guy a lot. People have doubted it before. I'm not doubting him ever again.
Yeah, I think this handicap came down for me is, whether Ulamutov can utilize his wrestling in the first 3 rounds. If he can, I think he's live at plus 200. I think that is kind of appetizing. However, I agree. Shamil Musayev, I think he will defend the takedowns pretty well. And I think he's going to win the striking battle on the feet as well. So I like over 2.5 rounds. It's at -1. Let me just double check for you. It's at -165. A little chalky, but if you combine that with Musayev on the money line, you're going to get plus odds. I did it with Carlos Solberg. I got plus 125, him to win in over 1.5 rounds. You'll get nice odds. Nice. Or I think it could go all 3. I think it could go all 5 rounds. Look, I think he could take over late and maybe get a decision price. And it is better. If you take Shamil Musayev to win by decision, it is at plus 235.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Yeah, like you said, 2 skilled, talented dudes. And you did mention a little parlay. You mentioned the other one previously going a little further in the fight. If you did just the over rounds, I bet you would come up with some plus money with both of those fights being a little favored to go a little longer. D-Rock's just cooking. Let's go into the featured bout, man. Light heavyweight championship, Impa Kasanganay. He's defending this belt, is he not?
Yep.
Minus 165, taking on Dovlet Yagshimuradov. One of my favorite names in the business at plus 150. I'm taking the dog with a brutal nickname and a nickname like the Wolfhound. Bro, I'm just all over this guy. It's an homage to the Bull. I got to shout out Anthony Torres because me and him, I remember back in the day, we were trying to get this dude's name down pat, and that's why I can pronounce it today.
One more time for the people, please.
Dovlet Yagshimuradov.
Yagshimuradov. I love the name. I mean, what a fucking name. And I think I'm going to take him as well, kid. You're getting a nice number at plus 150. I see plus 140s out there. Shop around, but I do like him, Semifinal win against the 2022 champ, Rob Wilkerson as well. I think he proved why he is a dark horse, and I think he should be taken seriously. He has excellent wrestling. He has good cardio, and I think he has power on the feet as well. If he could stay off of his back, I think he could get the best of Impa Kasanganay. I think the champ has the ultimate cardio, which can be a problem for his opponent, but he has been caught on his feet in all 3 of his fights this season. I think there are some holes that he can exploit. If he gets caught by Yagshimuradov, I just don't think Impa Kasanganay will be able to come back from that. So he's been rocked. I think he could get rocked again. Give me the dog. I agree. All 4 fights, we've kind of been on the same side. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Maybe it all comes to a head in this co-main event slot, where I am so excited for this co-main event fight, man. Flyweight championship, women taking the co-main event slot. I mean, in my opinion, this could have been the main event, to be honest, to see if Dakota Ditcheva could be tested with the likes of Taila Santos, who was in the UFC, fought for a title, has great jiu-jitsu, takedown, and is competent on the feet. D-Rock, you're going to hate me for this. I think this is a test for Ditcheva that she may not pass. And the good thing about the MMA, excuse me. Hint, hint, Ditcheva. We're calling you. UFC is calling you. That if you do take a loss, that you can get it back. It's not like boxing that is the end of your career. And the fact is, if you lose against someone that's skillful who has fought for a title like Taila Santos, you can only get better and kind of reinvent the wheel, improve on your wrestling, improve on your grappling, which I do think Taila Santos is going to have to use, because if she stays standing with Dakota Ditcheva, it will be a quick night for Taila Santos. But like I said, if she uses her wrestling, it will be a long night for Dakota Ditcheva. So I'm taking the dog in the co-main event slot. Taila Santos plus 325. It's speaking at me. Like I said, it's just everything that's coming into this factor. I think Talia Santos motivated. Dog price I like. Ditcheva's biggest test of her career. Co-main event slot of the biggest card of the year for them. I don't know, man. It's been very worrisome for me.
Yeah, obviously Ditcheva, she's been flawless this season. One more victory, she could be the next star in MMA. You know, I mean, standing in her way, I agree. It's the toughest challenge to date. On the feet, it just can't stay on the feet. It will obviously go Ditcheva's way.
Yes,
but I wouldn't say by much, as I don't think she's fought the level of competition as Santos has on the ground. I think Santos does have the advantage, and you know, I think that's the path to victory. You know, as incredible as Ditcheva has been, I believe she will be a star one day, win or lose. But at plus 325, I'm taking Santos as well. Wow. You know, she is the more competitive on the feet than I think most people think. And if she can pose her will with the wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I think she could steal some rounds, kid, and potentially submit the blue chip prospect. So I love Ditcheva. I think she's going to be the next star. But at this number, give me Talia Santos at plus 325.
I can't believe it that we've made it this far and we are aligned. This does not happen often, everybody. So lock in for the main event, which is going to be one of the PFL, you know, horses, man. He's just been carrying this program for as long as I can remember, man. Brendan Loughnane is trying to basically defend the featherweight championship again for what, a fourth time? Whether it's straight or not, it feels like he's there every single year. The UFC cuts him, and I think that's one of the biggest miss-outs the UFC has had in their past. You know, Fedor Emelianenko is maybe a massive one back in the day, but I mean, Brendan Loughnane, you may overlook the smaller guys, but look at this guy. He's been absolutely lights out for this organization and has been carrying a lot of them. Yeah. But he's a dog. He's a dog in his spot. Plus 260 because he's taking on Timur Kriziev. Kriziev has just been an undefeated phenomenon. Lights out. Minus 305. The books have him favored. The people have him favored. And I do think I'm going to favor him as well. Imam, I just think that the wrestling, man, you've seen Loughnane being able to, you know, counter wrestle, been able to do the best he can with some really good wrestlers. But I think Timur Kriziev is just a different level, man. I think another factor is how strong he is in the weight classes he's fought prior. He's fought at welterweight and he's fought at lightweight. So this guy's fought bigger weight class. He's fought bigger dudes. Brendan Loughnane isn't the biggest guy in the featherweight division. Like I said, Timur Kriziev is minus 305. Brendan Loughnane, as tough as he is, if you want to squeeze those odds down, as many finishes as we have seen before, Timur Kriziev may win, and it may be a little letdown for the fans and the promotion, being that he'll win by decision because Loughnane is just that tough. I don't see this guy going out without saying something. So, though I'm taking Timur Kriziev, you're probably going to have to squeeze him down to a prop, and I would probably pay Timur Kriziev via decision.
Yeah, Brendan Loughnane, he absolutely needs to keep this fight on the feet. And I think avoid the grappling, avoid the wrestling of Timur Kriziev.
Back-to-back fights.
Yeah, and if he could turn this into a kickboxing fight, he gives himself, I think, a very good chance to win. However, obviously that's easier said than done when you're facing a very talented grappler. I think both men are very durable, and I think they both have high IQs as fighters. So I do expect this to be competitive, very high IQ from bell to bell. I believe it will go to decision. So my best bet, I do like the over 4.5 rounds. It's chalky at minus 275. The number's too pricey for you. I would take the fight to go all 5 rounds, or maybe combine it again. Take Timur Kriziev and over 4.5 rounds. I think you get close to plus money or even money. But I agree. I think the books have him favored for a reason. I think he is the better fighter, but I do think it'll be competitive enough where it will go 4 or 5 rounds. So take the over and Kriziev on the money line.
We made it, and I'm in shock and awe. I just can't believe that, you know, as a transparency to everyone, we do not discuss our picks, and we have aligned on every single one of them.
I'm actually very surprised.
Yeah, very surprised. So, hey, kudos to you, my friend, and let's get him. Let's get the book.
Good luck. Like I said, preliminary card starts at 9:30 a.m. here on the East Coast. Main card starts at 1 over on ESPN Plus. So set your alarm. Should be a good one. Kid, before we get up out of here, got some news for you. We got some bangers for UFC 311. Yuri Prochazka and Jamal Hill, they will face in the co-main event. And then we got Kevin Holland taking on RDR, Renier de Ritter. Don't know if I like this fight for De Ridder, if I'm being honest. Maybe the UFC are throwing him to the wolves, but definitely like the co-main event. I think Yuri and Jamal will be fireworks.
Yeah, absolute entertaining fireworks, a full display there. I just think, Jamal Hill's going to be orthodox as best he can, and he's got power. But Yuri, man, just unorthodox, may throw Jamal Hill. I've coming off of a knockout loss to another orthodox fighter in Alex Poatan Pereira. He's not going to have to deal with the unorthodox Yuri Prochazka. So I think that's going to maybe throw him for a little spin. And then you're talking about, man, what UFC's doing to RDR. I mean, it's either they don't like RDR or they're doing their damnedest to prove that one is the B leagues, because I made a tweet about it. And that's what I think that they're trying to do. They're trying to show that one and PFL and everyone else other than the UFC can't compete, and they're the B leagues. That's why he got the GM3 test to start, and that's why he's getting the Trailblazer test next. Let's see if he can pass it.
Guess the odds for that co-main event: Jamal Hill, Yuri Prochazka.
Oh, okay. You know what? Let's go Yuri Prochazka to favorite, like minus 125, minus 130.
No, closer than most of your predictions, I will say. Jamal Hill minus 115, Yuri Prochazka minus 105.
Oh, so it's almost a pick 'em.
Yeah, almost a pick 'em. It's close, which I think that's fair.
Yeah, some of mine have been going really crazy, but looking back, I'll be honest with you, even though I've been a little wild with the predictions, I feel like after the results shown, I've been kind of right. It's like they should have been that big of a favorite, or they shouldn't have been a more slight. So
now, is this a number one contender fight? Because we've seen Yuri have his shot at Alex Pereira a few times. Jamal Hill, he's still sleeping. Like, what's going on? Because Magomed Ankalaev is next.
Yeah, no matter what, he's next. And, burn my ticket because I had him maybe getting that chance by the end of the year. That's not happening. So, yeah, Ankalaev is going to get it next year. But, I mean, I'm still on the fence, man. I do think that if Poatan does get the fight with Magomed Ankalaev and he does beat him again, I do think it may open up the door with a fight against John Jones. I know we don't like to see that maybe, but I mean, both the guys are at the point, 37 years old in their career, legacy fights maybe on the horizon. Most money you could possibly make, more so than if Tom Aspinall has to fight John Jones. Yeah, I think that's something that, you could say Yuri and Jamal may be next, but they may have to wait.
Yeah, may have to wait. We will see, but maybe a number one contender fight. Some boxing news, though, as well. Got a hell of a card February 22nd in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Headline, main event, Daniel Dubois taking on Joseph Parker. Co-main event, which could be a main event as well. Artur Beterbiev taking on Dimitri Bivol 2. We got Virgil Ortiz Jr. taking on Jerome Ennis. All that's missing is Shakur Stevenson, I think.
Seriously.
But those three fights were amazing, kid. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I love all three of them, man. I know it's boxing trying to do their best to compete with mixed martial arts because we're seeing more and more promotions do very well for themselves. We just hope that we have the same leadership with the other promotions as we do with the UFC, because that's where it all starts from. It starts from the top down. I mean, we see it with all the ball sports. If your organization isn't good, the players will feel it. The fighters will feel it. So, like I said, it starts from the top down.
Yeah, 100%. So we will see, but yeah, they need to, and we got to credit His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, because without him, none of these fights would be getting put
nor the
together.
PFL.
Yeah, exactly. Also, we are a few weeks away from Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. Excited about that. What's your level of excitement, 1 to 10?
Honestly, like a 7. We've seen it before, and I think that takes a little bit away from it. But we want to see if Fury can right his wrong, or if Usyk's just going to dominate and just going to prove that, he made it a little closer even last time before, because it went to the judges, and I see if Usyk can go in out there and actually put him away this time, then he just puts a stamp in this rivalry. There was no rivalry. He just owns Tyson Fury, which is just a bold statement to say. It's crazy.
That's insane to say. So, Joe, before we let go, no 10 seconds left. We lost last week, unfortunately, but what do we got for the people this week?
We're looking ahead. We'll be getting them back next week. But like I said, it all starts from the top down, man. And this message is to Don Davis, because it starts with planning. Having these fighters organize their lives around a season, and then what feels like a slap together card, it's just sad from a viewer's perspective. And then coming out and then doubling down on your ego and thinking that this is a good decision. Oh, we won't be up against anybody. Meanwhile, one is on the same time as you are on a Friday morning. I got to get up and program myself to watch what you're going to put on, go onto ESPN Plus, find it, and then find it. Meanwhile, one is on YouTube, so it's easier to access them. So I just don't understand. I feel like Don Davis is failing Sugar Ray Sefo. He's failing his fighters. And above all, he's failing the investors. You know, as we talked about Turki Al-Sheikh and all the, you know, the money that's coming in to support this organization. So, yeah, the people giving you money, the people giving him an arena, you know, on Friday to fight, you know, that's happening that they own. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, if this event falls flat in her face, don't be surprised if Don Davis goes missing, whether it's his own doing or if it's someone else's doing.
Seems like he never wants to take accountability also and he's always right. It's like a one-way street sometimes.
Seems to be a theme nowadays.
Yeah, unfortunately. But Joe, hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Tell the fam I said hi. Favorite Thanksgiving dish, real quick.
Oh man, mashed potatoes, you know, I do like stuffing too. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
People sleep on turkey. You get a good juicy
deep fry
it, something like that. You know what I mean? Like that hits, man. All of it, you know, ham. Give me the everything. You know what I'm saying? Sweet potatoes. Give me the pie after.
Cornbread guy.
I didn't get this way like nothing. Now I'm in the South. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We didn't grow up on cornbread, you and I, but now I'm down South, you know what I'm saying? It's there. So
it's a thing as well. I know a lot of
mac and cheese.
Yes, mac and cheese is big. Obviously, the mashed potatoes, the stuffing. Whatever you do, enjoy it this Thursday with your family. Enjoy the fights. Good luck. God bless. And we'll see you guys.